on the final Sunday of the NHL's regular season. Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page from Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., where today's game carries not just playoff implications, but potential history as well. Welcome into the broadcast, everyone. My name is Jaric Rubel. So glad you are with me for the Washington Capitals hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it could be the final chapter in one of hockey's greatest rivalries, with Sidney Crosby taking on Alex Ovechkin for the 100th time regular season and postseason in their careers. For Washington, though, in this game, the equation is simple: win or your season is over. The Capitals kept their playoff hopes alive with a strong performance in Pittsburgh just 24 hours ago, knocking off the Penguins and giving themselves a chance heading into today's game. But there's absolutely no margin for error, sitting just a few points back in the Metro Division race. Anything less than another victory could officially close the door for the Capitals' postseason chances. And leading the charge, as he has for nearly 2 decades, it is Alex Ovechkin. The future Hall of Famer continues to deliver in big moments, adding another goal in yesterday's win. And with his future beyond this season still in doubt, every game carries a little bit more weight, and this could be the very last time he takes home ice here in a Washington Capitals uniform, adding even more emotion to an already intense afternoon. Washington will also be keeping an eye on the status of Pierre-Luc Dubois, and that status is he is in. We'll see how much he plays today after he exited yesterday's game after a hard collision, so we'll see where he plays overall in this game. Right now, he's slotted between Connor McMichael and Ryan Leonard. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they come into this one in a very different position. Their playoff ticket has already been punched. They've locked themselves into a strong spot in the Metropolitan Division, getting that second spot for home ice in the first round. But there's an interesting wrinkle here to this game, as the Capitals, if they could find a way to sneak into the postseason with the points necessary, these two teams could be seeing a whole lot more of each other in the next week in a first round matchup. In fact, a Washington push into the playoffs will start here on April 13th in Pittsburgh if they make it. So they could end up playing this very same team just 6 nights from now. But today it might mean everything for the Capitals. So here we go. One team fighting for its season, the other already in, but still dangerous. And the backdrop here of a Crosby-Ovechkin rivalry that has defined an era of hockey. It's the Pens and the Caps for the final time this regular season, the 100th time in the careers of Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. Puck drop is just moments away. You're listening to NHL Hockey with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Pens and caps set to begin here from DC. But first, let's take a look at today's starting goaltender matchup. In goal again for the Capitals, Logan Thompson. Just yesterday, he allowed 3 goals on 12 shots, but didn't see enough rubber enough to tire him out. So he's back in the blue paint today for Washington. 30, 21, and 6 on the year for him, a 2.48 goals against average and a .910 save percentage. He'll be opposed by Stuart Skinner for the Penguins. 23, 16, and 9 for him, a 2.89 goals against and an .889 save percentage. It's Strome, Ovechkin, and Beauvillier to begin this game for the Caps, attacking right to left. It'll be Crosby out there with Malkin to begin this game. On the far wing as well. Can't get a number quite yet. Looks like Chinakhov, though, 59. And Ovechkin's going to come in for this draw against Crosby. Sid beats him clean. And we're underway here in Washington. The 100th all-time meeting between Crosby and Ovechkin, regular season and playoffs. Will it be the last one? We'll find out. As right in from the left wing circle, a shot by Chinakhov. Snapped on net, kicked out of there with a purpose by Thompson for his first save of the game. As now Ovechkin in neutral ice in front of the penalty boxes, drops one back off for Faravari, as now he'll go D to Liljegren, who joins the lineup after Rasmus Sandin got hurt in yesterday's contest. Played it up the far wing. This ends up being an icing here on Washington. 30 seconds into today's game. Let's take a look at these Pittsburgh lines before their ozone face-off. The top line's supposed to be Crosby, Rust, and Chinakhov. Malkin joined him at the time for the face-off. Malkin's on a line with Raquel and Novak. That's the second line. Third line, Hayes with Brazo and Koivunen. Then Kapanen centering Soderblom and McGroarty. Face off to the right of Thompson, won by the Capitals, but Van Riemsdyk unable to clear. As now Dylan Strome will take it for Washington, playing it up the near side, not out. Carlson will keep it from the right point, down low Raquel, backdoor feed, and a save with the left pad by Thompson. On the doorstep was Novak, as the Capitals clear it back out to center. The Pittsburgh Penguins back in, right side as Carlson feeds Rust. Can't get in cleanly to the Capitals zone, so he plays it back off. As Carlson tonight paired with Wotherspoon. The other defensive pairings, Letang with Girard and St. Ivany with Solovyev. So the Penguins here down to our right. Novak playing one in the trapezoid of the Capitals zone. In that far corner, Raquel left one for Rust. Played it straight away, St. Ivany. Long wristers, deflected save made Thompson. Rebound, Novak shut down by Thompson as well with the right-handed catching glove as he takes a whistle with 18:43 to go here in the second period. First register shot on goal for the Penguins. The Capitals lines in this game. Dylan Strome between Beauvillier and Ovechkin on the top line. Dubois centering McMichael and Leonard. Ryan Leonard red hot for the Capitals. Ilya Protest centering his brother Alexei Protas and Tom Wilson. Then Sordiff on the fourth line with Miroshnichenko and Duhaime. Ilya Protest there to win this draw cleanly against Kevin Hayes to the left of his goalie, Logan Thompson. So the Caps now out to center on the far right wing. Wilson got his pocket picked by Koivunen, and Brazo will backhand one back beneath the Capital goal line. On the right-hand side, down to our right, it's played up the wall by Hayes, thrown across to the far point, Solyov. Threw one on net, went off at Thompson's crest on his chest. Is now on the left-hand side. It'll be Ilya Protest flipping one into the Penguin zone. Capitals D pairings while we got a moment. Faravari with Liljegren, Chychrun with Van Riemsdyk, and Cole Hudson with Roy on the back end. Down to our left in the Penguins' defensive zone, Kevin Hayes plays one ahead for Elmer Soderblom, brought over from Detroit at the trade deadline's been a great presence for Pittsburgh so far since being acquired. As now back into the defensive zone, they must chase a Capital dump in. Came right to Sam Girard, though, for Pittsburgh. As now on the near side, it's flipped out past the penalty boxes. Trying to grab it for the Penguins is Soderblom. He's onside on the right side to the Capital zone. Backhanded it beneath the goal line, but Washington's on it to play it up the far wing. Brandon Duhaime chipped it off the far boards, trying to get it to himself. McGroarty beat him to that loose puck. Dropped it off now for Girard. Fanned on a clearing attempt. Now played it into the skates of a Penguin. That was Kapanen, who got ran over in front of his own bench. As now the Penguins do have position. And backhand went out to center thanks to Girard. Now back at their own blue line as they want to change. Letang will end up holding off as we've played 2 minutes and 50 seconds here in Washington. Penguins and Capitals. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel as a tough icing call is going to be whistled here on the Penguins as Crosby thought he got in to nullify it, but they ended up blowing the play dead as Trevor Van Riemsdyk got to the faceoff dot first. So an ozone draw coming back for the Capitals in the Pittsburgh defensive zone. I mentioned Pittsburgh's 6-3 victors against these Penguins a day ago up in Pittsburgh, as Ovechkin was able to add another goal with an empty netter, as he's up now to 32 on the campaign. That leads all Capital skaters. Tom Wilson right behind him with 30 goals, as now a face-off here will be to the right of Stuart Skinner, as it'll be Connor McMichael to take this draw against Crosby. He wins it. Dubois shot it, and it missed to the glove side of Skinner, and it deflects out of play. And it looks like the faceoff will remain inside the Penguins' D zone to the left of their goaltender Skinner. 17 minutes to go here in this first period. Pittsburgh goals in that game yesterday against the Washington Capitals. Mantha, Achari, and Hayes found the back of the net. Mantha and Achari not playing today, as they are getting scheduled rest after getting the game yesterday. And then Protas scored for the Caps. Alexei Protas, his 25th of the year. Ryan Leonard scored twice to get up to 20. Tom Wilson got his 30th. And Ilya Protas as well got his first career NHL goal. So face off to the right of Skinner once again. Thought it was going to be to the left, but it's moved back to the near side. As now McMichael against Rust for this draw. Rust ends up getting the possession for the Penguins. Is on the near side trying to get it to Crosby as Carlson. Instead it ricochets up to the blue line. Chychrun just rifled one that goes out of play again to the far corner. So with 16:50 remaining in this opening period, another face off will stay in the O zone here for the Washington Capitals. And the Caps here on home ice, they're 10-1-2 since January 31st. They have only lost in regulation once since the end of January. And since getting shut out a couple weeks ago in St. Louis, they're averaging 4.63 goals per game. So since then, they've really turned it up to try and make this Stanley Cup playoff push, and 2 points here today will make that final game Tuesday in Columbus very meaningful, especially if the Hurricanes beat Philadelphia tomorrow and Boston at least beats Columbus in any fashion here later tonight. So the Penguins with the puck in their defensive zone, snapping it on Carlson's blade on the right wing is Wotherspoon. Carlson snapped it into Washington ice. Around the goal, it'll go to the far corner. Liljegren put it up the boards. Protas will tip it in. Alexei Protas, that is. As now the Penguins in their own defensive zone will look for a breakout at 4 minutes played. Pass tipped into the zone for Malkin from Raquel. A shot upstairs and a save Thompson. Rebound. Raquel shut down Thompson as well. As from the right wing circle, Malkin tried to go upstairs, but Thompson with 2 good saves on Malkin and Raquel. Keep it scoreless. Now Pittsburgh here is going to ice the puck as the pass intended on the far wall for Malkin didn't connect. And now with 15:50 to go in the period, another O-zone draw coming up here for the Capitals. And we've had a lot of icings here through the first few minutes of this game. So we'll look at the chance here for Malkin. Right wing dot, and there was room. Top corner, short side, but Thompson, I got the face cam, so I'm able to describe the save. Got the arm up like this and was able to shut down that top corner and get it with his right arm. Or left arm, I should say, based on where he's at in the paint. Now, face off to the right of Skinner, pulled back by the Caps, but Farivari put one right in the skates of Malkin. Now the puck pinballs around, back at the near circle. It'll be played around the goal by Solovyov, and now the Penguins will escape to center. Raquel on the far wall. Malkin will carry into the Capital zone. Drops it to Raquel, far left wing at the dot. Backhanded behind the goal line to Malkin. To the near corner, he collects. Has trouble with it, absorbs contact from Tom Wilson. Got it to the point, St. Evany, a shot and a save made on the Raquel tip by Thompson. Rebound to the near right wing boards. It's up to the right point, St. Ivany. Sent one across to the point. It's Solovyov. Played it now down low again, trying to get there for the Pittsburgh Penguins was Tommy Novak, but he got taken into the boards by a Capital. That was Farivari. Is down beneath the goal line to our right. The puck rings around to the far point again. The Penguins trying to play it down low. It's tipped behind the Capital net. Raquel trying to locate it. He does. It's knifed away though from him and played up by Duhaime for the Capitals. And out the center it goes for Pittsburgh. On the re-entry, Letang put Brazo in on the right side. Sent one across. Try to hit Koivunen at the left wing dot. Had to play it up to the point Girard. Straight away. Letang, long shot, left pad save made by Thompson. Rebound to the near wall. Capitals are on it. Flipping it out to center is Duhaime once again, and it bounces over the Penguin blue line. Girard will have to skate back on it through the trapezoid and scurry his way back up the right wing boards. Backhanded one between the benches. It'll be shot in by Chinakhov, and now it bounces into the near side of the Capital zone. Brazo still out there trying to get it down low to Hayes. Hayes had it popped off his blade, and Strome now put it up for Ovechkin. Ovechkin left-hand side for Beauvillier past the penalty box. boxes, who will shoot one into the Penguin zone. Behind the Penguin net, Girard left one in the near side. Letang had trouble with it and got ran over by Ovechkin. The crowd likes that. Meanwhile, Chychrun at the point slid it across Van Riemsdyk. Tried to center it for Strome in the slot. It came to Girard, who tipped it out to center. And Chychrun will scurry back with 6 minutes played in a scoreless first period. Shots are 4-0 Pittsburgh, as the Capitals here without a shot on goal in the first 6 minutes and 15 seconds of this game tonight. Jakob Chychrun now from behind his own blue line here. Played one up the right side for Leonard. Leonard couldn't field it cleanly over the Pittsburgh blue line, but it's thrown back to the near wall. McMichael in the slot. Dubois couldn't get it cleanly on net as he had an open shot. Just flubbed it to the blocker side. Now down to our left in the near corner. 4 skaters tie up. A third Penguin comes in now to make it 5. McMichael prying that puck underneath the skate here in the near corner. It squirts free now on top of the blue paint near the Penguins net, and it's cleaned up out to center. And now the Capitals reset in their own zone. 7 minutes played in this first period. Still scoreless. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As the Penguins now in their own zone down to our left behind the goal in the trapezoid. Soderblom will leave it on the far wall now. It'll be played up to Carlson. Backhand this way to Soderblom. The glue guy trying to get past Chychrun. Could not. Chychrun gets possession right back for Washington. Backhanded one up to Wilson at the red line, who shoots one behind the Penguin net. Alexei Protas trying to get there. Backhanded to his brother Ilya. Deflected towards him. Now his shot got blocked off the skate of St. Ivany to the near wall. Thrown back up. Ilya kept it. Shot it towards Skinner. He makes his first save of the game. Rebound pops in behind St. Ivany to Crosby, far wall. Chips it back now to Solivarov, back between the Penguins circles. Now he has it and starts a breakout with now 7.5 played in this opening period. Puck now deflects between the benches. Having to get back on it are the Penguins, as St. Ivany now up the right wing for Rust. Rust will kitty corner one into the far corner of the Penguin zone. Sort on it for Washington. Had trouble with it as he got ran into by Crosby. Crosby trying to get it to Chinakhov. He fanned on a play around the goal, as now Roy will flip it back out for Washington. And on the far wing, it rolls into the Penguin zone down to our left, where Girard gets back behind his own net. Put it for Sid on the near wing. Flipped it to the logo, but right to Sordiff, who takes it back for Washington. As the fourth line gets possession, Miroshnichenko blew a tire, but the Caps will keep possession as Roy's there. Played it back up for Miroshnichenko. A drop pass for Sordiff goes straight away over the Penguin blue line to the right wing circle. His shot, right pad save, Skinner, rebound, Miroshnichenko put it just wide to the near corner. That free puck's picked up Beauvillier. He pivots left wing board. Shot went off the skate there. A Malkin ricochet to the far wall. Roy pinching, played it to the goal. It's cleared out though by Novak, and the Penguins will get a change. The Caps will chase back with Cole Hudson on it. 11:20 remaining in the first period, as the rookie who scored in his debut against Ottawa gets through all 3 lines at center. Backhanded to the left wing corner for Beauvillier to ring around the Penguin goal. Ovi let it ride to the point for Van Riemsdyk. Played around the goal once again to the near wall. Malkin grabbed it first, played it off a Capital skate, and it will get out to center. And a diving play by Raquel's unable to get it deeper. And now from the logo, Van Riemsdyk to the far wing. Strome over the line. Left wing found Chychrun at the dot, trying to cut behind the Penguin goal with a wraparound, and it went off the side of the net back to him. Chychrun on the far wing, skating between the dots up high. Now to the left wing circle, still with possession, puts on the brakes, feathered a backhander to Van Riemsdyk. Far point, a shot tipped by Ovi, and a right pad save made by Skinner. Rebound pop to the near boards. It's going to be iced by the Penguins' Raquel, as after a long shift, it rolls down for the whistle. With 10:34 to go here in this first period, Ovechkin with a good tip on that Van Riemsdyk shot right on the doorstep, as he almost got it past the right pad of Skinner, but it just went off the outside part of that right pad. Not quite a skate save, did hit the pad, but almost passed it for Ovechkin. So after the icing by the Penguins, after that long shift too, they must stay out on the ice. Raquel, Malkin, and Novak. They'll go up against Dubois, Leonard, and McMichael, as Raquel's getting tossed out of the draw now. No, he's not. He's circling back in now, as still a long pause before he dropped this puck. The linesman here, Ryan Daisy, not having it. Paired tonight with Libor Shushanek. The referees, by the way, Chris Rooney and Furman South. McMichael wins the draw clean for the Capitals. From the back, Dubois' flip shot got blocked by Raquel right away, and it's out to center. Malkin got past, or Novak, I should say, got past the red line and dropped it to Kevin Hayes, who was fresh on. Played back near the point off a poke check by Chychrun. It came out the center, so the Capitals recoil back. Here's Penguins Koivunen trying to hit a pass for Brazeau backdoor that was cut off. Now Chychrun on a stretch pass up the left wing over the Penguin line. Tried to hit Dubois in stride. Got cut off by St. Ivany. Now on the right wing side, it's turned over. McMichael in the slot. Can't get it cleanly as it's poked off his blade now to Kevin Hayes, who circles behind his own net. Left it in the right wing corner for St. Ivany. Snap back across. Hayes collects through center on the far wing over the Capital line. Tried to feed Koivunen. Came back to him in the slot. His snapper went off a skate to the near corner. Now here comes Dubois on the counterattack for Washington. Ahead for Leonard. Tried to chip it for Alexei Protas on the left wing. It got cut off by Hayes, and the Penguins are back 3-on-2. Hayes crisscrossing for Carlson. Right wing side over the Capital line. Back to Hayes. Pivots in the near corner. Dropped it back off Carlson. Right wing circle. Try to make a move to the slot. Lost the handle. Gets it back. Now backhanded to McGroarty. Left wing dot. His shot got stopped by the right arm of Thompson. Rebound goes to the far corner. Popped up in the air. Wilson trying to clear. Hacked at it. Came to Koivunen, who kept it in. Feathered it to the near circle. It bounces to Carlson's blade. Has to avoid a man. Faravari. He does it, but he was taken down by him in the process. And it's a penalty coming up on Faravari. Knee-on-knee contact against Carlson, who's getting checked on to make sure he's okay. Or is a high stick, rather, as it looked like knee-on-knee at the moment. But Faravari got him right in the schnoz with a high stick. And they're going to check for blood. We're going to take our first time out. But when we come back, the Penguins to the first power play of the game. You're listening to the 100th all-time meeting between Crosby and Ovechkin. Penguins and Capitals on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Back in Washington, where the Penguins are set to get the game's first power play in this one. The Capitals honoring Alex Ovechkin during the first TV timeout as he gets a standing ovation from the Capital crowd here, sold out at Capital One Arena, as it might be the final home game in the career of Alex Ovechkin. We still are unaware of the decision he's going to make this summer. Perhaps he's back for another year, but for all we know, this could be the last time he rocks the red if the Capitals don't make the playoffs. Big PK for the Caps, highest PK percentage, 83.5% since December 2nd, going up against this Penguins power play that's 7th in the NHL, coming in at 24.6%. Crosby against McMichael to the right of Logan Thompson, and Crosby wins the draw. The Penguins control. At the far left wing dot, Crosby muscled off the puck, but it came to Rust. Got it back to Sid, who played it back to Rust. Far corner, in front, Raquel couldn't get good wood on it. Played it back behind for Rust. Swooped back to the far point. Carlson's not there, though, as he's going to have to get back on it as the puck rolls on edge in the Penguin territory. So Carlson on that, skates behind his own net. Up the right wing boards he'll go, dropping it off in his own zone for Raquel. Gets to the logo, left it for Crosby, into the Capital zone he goes, slid it to the near wall on the right side for Malkin, protecting, down low Crosby, gave it back to the right point for Carlson, skating now up between the circles, left it right wing for Malkin, back across Carlson, a tip for Crosby, save made by Thompson as he found Crosby, backdoored Carlson with a slap pass, but Thompson able to come up with the stop, and the Capitals with the clear. 67 seconds remain on the Penguin power play. Back in they come. Malkin, near wing for Crosby, sends it down low. Sent around the goal by Liljegren. The Capitals' Wilson wanted to get on it for perhaps an odd man rush, but McMichael wasn't having it. Now Skinner sticked it right to Wilson. Could have deflected right into the goal, but it goes behind the Penguin goal line. And Russ now will drop it off for Letang as there's 45 seconds left on the Penguin man advantage. Under 8 minutes now in the first period. Letang drops one off. Here comes the Penguins with speed. Novak for Hayes on the right wing over the Capital line. Dropped it off for Letang across to the far wall. Brazo in the slot. Chinakhov back to Brazo down low. Straight away Letang up high near wing. Here's a one-timer. Hayes right on and a save by Thompson. Rebound far point. Here is Letang now at the near right side. Looking for a lane. Put it in the corner. Hayes will give it right back. Letang up high. Slid it across to Chinakhov. Snapped it on net. Here's a rebound and a shot by Brazo over the crossbar. Came to the near wing. And now Chychrun on it for the Capitals. Can't clear. Now another try off a Hayes stick. It goes. Will it get out? Alexei trying to clear against Letang. Does. As now penalty time's up for the Capitals. Beauvillier's up the left wing into the Penguin zone. He goes, blew a tire and lost possession. As now Letang behind his own net with 7 minutes to go in the first period. Drops it off for Wotherspoon. Parker Wotherspoon did not play in the game yesterday. Part of the guys getting rest as he and our Erik Karlsson, the top D pair for this Penguins team, had the afternoon off. Now it's wristed in by McGroarty to capitalize from the right wing side. Around the goal, it went to the far corner, but Hudson played it to the near side. Roy can't grab it. Wotherspoon does for the Penguins. Played it back down low to the near side to our right. Put up to Sordiff, who goes rink wide for Hudson. Hudson now at space on the right wing to scoot into the Penguin zone. Right wing circle. A shot got blocked. Ricocheted to the near side. Picked up now by Wotherspoon. Goes rink wide for Girard. Bats it down. Skates into the Capital zone. Left wing circle. Driving on top of the paint. A drop pass for Novak. Didn't connect. Girard, though, on that loose puck. Hurrying to it on the right wing side. Poole cued it back down low, but Dubois cut it off. Threw it back up to the point. Girard can't keep it. And the Penguins will have to get back at center. In their own zone now. Girard left it on the near side. Crosby back on the ice with Ovechkin for the Capitals. Crosby on the right wing. Fed a pass for Raquel. Raquel over the right wing line. Taken into the boards by Beauvillier. Puck came down low though for Crosby. Right wing. Threw it across to the point. Here's Soloviev coming back. Crosby one-timer. Couldn't get a stick on it. Beauvillier in the near corner for the Capitals. Played it up. Not out. Kept St. Ivany straight away. Long wrister blocked in front. Ricocheted in behind. Here's Raquel trying to slack at it. Came to the near wall though where Beauvillier will put it up for Ovechkin. And Ovi ladled it to the logo. Strome will collect over the Penguin line. Pull up far wing near the blue line. Turned it over. And the Penguins get possession back through center. Here is Soloviev. Playing it on the far wall behind the Capital net. Around the goal it'll go. Alexei Protas will collect, and he has some speed up the left wing. Tries to get past Karlsson. Got poke checked, though, at the Penguin blue line as the Pens get possession back. 5:10 remaining in the first period. Shot 6-4 in favor of the Penguins. A fast-moving opening 20 minutes as Pittsburgh's back in on the right wing. Novak cutting towards the middle. Had a pass turned over. Now Chychrun up ahead for Protas. Couldn't connect with Alexei with the pass. No icing here as Skinner plays the puck. Protas just knocks down Wotherspoon. Centered it for his brother Ilya, and a shot got blockered away by Skinner to the far wall. Wilson has it at the far wall. Played it down behind the Penguin net. Karlsson back on it for Pittsburgh. Played it up, not out. Ilya Protas dropped it off. Wilson in the slot. A shot glove save by Skinner as that was a high riser. And he flashes the leather and gets the stop with 4:37 to go in the first period. Penguins having trouble getting out of their own zone. The Protas brothers and Wilson almost made them pay. But Stuart Skinner with some good stops, keeping it scoreless in Washington. Back here in Washington, Stuart Skinner with a pair of good saves for the Penguins a moment ago, keeping it scoreless with 4:37 to go in the opening period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As 1 week from now, the Stanley Cup Playoffs will be underway, and perhaps on Saturday, it could be these two going toe-to-toe, a regulation win by Washington in these next two games, and a Flyers loss tomorrow against the Hurricanes. While the Hurricanes are still vying for the top seed in the East, they'll show up to play. There's still a lot to play for in the Eastern Conference. Big 2 points on the line in this game today. As we resume play, the Capitals end up icing the puck with 4:20 remaining in the opening period. So the faceoff comes back in their defensive zone, and the Penguins will get an opportunity with the O-zone draw. As this Pittsburgh Penguins team, they are now the highest scoring team in the Sidney Crosby era, 3.56 goals per game. That's higher than the team in 2021, 3.45, and higher than the 2016-17 Stanley Cup team that scored 3.39 goals per game. And I have some friends who are Pens fans. As they win the draw here, Crosby to the near right wing, it's sent by Letang for Chinakhov. But this Penguins team, I remember during those cup runs, watching, again, these Pens Caps games, they would score 3 in a cluster. And the great Doc Emmerich would always say, this Pens team could score 3 in a cluster. Look out for that. And that they do that this year. And that's kind of what I'm looking at in the playoffs. They could go down in a hole, but score plenty of goals to get right back in it. And they're the highest scoring team in the Crosby era. So I won't doubt that one bit. Speaking of Crosby, had an opportunity on top of the blue paint, but rarely misses the net. Ended up missing the net there to the glove side of Logan Thompson, who catches with his right hand. Now the Penguins will get another opportunity as Raquel's up through center on the right wing over the Capital line, looking to make a move at the dot. Played it around the goal, went off the referee and slowed its roll to the far side. Malkin can't grab it, sort of does, and out comes the Capitals. On the left wing side, over the lines, Duhaime tried a shot, missed to the stick side of Skinner. Ricochet to the far corner, Duhaime's back on it. Right wing circle, turnaround shot, glove save by Stu, as he'll hold with 3:16 left in the first period. Shout out Stone Cold Steve Austin. And with one more break here in this first period, we'll step aside as they go to that now. Still scoreless between the Penguins and Capitals. Crosby just inches away from opening the scoring. Welcome back to Washington as we take a look back here at some of the great moments between Crosby and Ovechkin. We'll start with the dueling hat tricks that came in the playoffs in 2009, as everyone wondered what kind of magic Sid and Ovi would produce when they faced off in the NHL. And they ended up having a barn burner of a playoff game that the Capitals won 4-3, game 2 of that series against Pittsburgh, as Crosby and Ovechkin each had hat tricks in that game. It was just the 5th time in league history that opposing players had hat tricks in the same playoff game, and it was the most talked about game of the Crosby-Ovechkin era, and still most likely is to this day today. So under 3 minutes to go in this first period now. Puck in the Capital zone down to our right. Soderblom protecting his 7 points in his last 8 games. Got it to the right point. Solovyov played it across St. Ivany. A shot and a left pad save made by Thompson. He's been good for Washington in this first period, as he's now faced already 7 shots in this period. He faced just 12 all of last game. Is now at the far left wing. Here's a puck to the point. Solovyov, a shot and a right pad save by Thompson. Wasn't sure he had it. It was awkward looking as he kind of got the glove on top of it. He looked like to trap it. And he'll hold that with 2:25 now to go in the first period. As Solovyov, part of that trade with Colorado that sent Sam Girard this way, and Brett Kulak to the Colorado Avalanches. That trade was made before the trade deadline, but kind of kickstarted the chaos when all the teams started to make their moves. He scored his first NHL goal earlier this year against the Blue Jackets as a member of Colorado. There's now a face-off here to the left of Logan Thompson. Ilya Protas against Rickard Rakell. And Rakell's been tossed out a lot this game, and he's been listed as a centerman for this game on a line with Malkin and Novak, who are both centermen. So Novak steps in, but loses this draw to Ilya Protas, and the Capitals get it out on the left wing, but the Penguins will snap it right back in on the far side as Letang put it deep. Behind the goal, Thompson will stick it up ahead. Poke near the circles, and now played by Malkin to the far wall, and now Wilson to the logo for Farivari. Up to the left wing, Alexei Protas tried to throw it across in the slot. It's grabbed by Novak, taken away by Ilya, played it to the net, save Skinner, as he'll hang on with Alexei Protas on the doorstep. And with 1:57 to go here in this first period, another whistle and a face-off to the left of Stuart Skinner. Once we get to intermission, go to this very YouTube channel, hit the live tab, and head over to the NASCAR coverage, Food City 500 at Bristol. Matt Owens, Matt White, and Seth Eves have the call for that one. And then you can come back over here for the second period once it gets underway. 1:57 still to play, though, in this opening frame, as a face-off to the left of Skinner's won by Ovechkin against Connor McMichael, or I should say won by Crosby against Connor McMichael, beg your pardon there, is down to the Capital zone. It'll go for Sid. Got knocked off the puck, though, in behind by Farivari. On the near side, Leonard tried to clear. He can't. Chinikov will keep it in at the moment, but it's pool-cooled out by Farivari, and the Penguins once again will reset. Crosby drops it off in his own zone. Letang in the final 90 of the first. Up the right wing, Rust will play it in. Crosby skates to the right wing circle on his backhand, protecting behind the Capital net. Played it up to the far point. It's grabbed by Wotherspoon. Thrown this way for Letang, whose shot went off the skate of Leonard to the far wall in the Capital zone. Played up for Duhaime to carry over the red line. He chipped it into the Penguin zone. Going after it with Letang. Penalty coming up here on the Pens, is getting a stick up high on Duhaime. A trip actually was Wotherspoon. Looked like there could have been 2 penalties, as it looks like Crosby behind the play is going to be the one who sits. I thought it was going to be a high stick coming on the Penguins, but Crosby behind the play tripped up Martin Farivari, and the Capitals to their first power play, the game's second power play, as the Penguins were 0 for 1 on their opportunity. The Penguins, though, on the PK, 7th in the NHL, much like their power play. 2nd, though, on the road, 84%. This Capitals power play struggling this year, 27th in the NHL, and 30th here on home ice at just 15.7%. So top power play unit of Wilson, Chychrun, Strome, Ovechkin, and Leonard for the Capitals, as it looks like maybe Justin Sourdif's going to join this top unit for the Capitals, so he'll be out there at the moment. Wilson won't be, as off the draw it's played back on the far wall. Here's Strome. Up top, Cole Hudson to the near wall. Ovechkin in his office had a shot go off the skate of Rust. That stung him, as he's checking his left skate as he heads to the Penguin bench. Meanwhile, the Capitals in the final minute now of the first circle back on the man advantage. Hudson at the red line. Weaves his way, dropped it at the logo. Sordov slid it this way for Ilya Protas. Now for Ovechkin on the doorstep and tipped by Sordov off the post. Now they score! Power play goal. Capitals strike first with 40 seconds left in the first period. So chaos on the doorstep as Ovechkin put this puck towards the net. And on the doorstep, Sordif had a tip. It went off the crossbar, and on the follow-up, he was able to put it in on top of the blue paint. as that shot by Ovi, tipped in the slot between the circles by Sordiff, fell right behind Skinner. And on that blue paint for the cleanup crew was Justin Sordiff. And the rookie is now up to 16 goals on the year. And now we have a coach's challenge coming up, courtesy Dan Muse, for and offsides. And every Penguin, I've only done one Penguins game actually, but I've watched a lot. And Dan Muse challenges a lot. And I think he might have probable cause here, as Ilya Protas was in over the blue line before this puck fully crossed it. As I think Dan Muse has probable cause here for this challenge. I think he's going to win it. And I think this Capitals power play goal is going to get overturned. So cue the Jeopardy music now, as I should probably cue up the Jeopardy. I should put this in my hot cues here. But it's a quick decision here by the officials, as out to center comes Furman South, and after further review, Dan Muse's challenge was successful. No goal for the Capitals. The power play goals taken off the boards, as the rookie Ilya Protas was offsides. So Sordiff's power play goal, assisted by Ovechkin, will not count. And the power play will resume now for the Washington Capitals, as we'll throw that back up on the scoreboard. Sidney Crosby's back in the penalty box. And now we're back to scoreless hockey with 44.4 seconds to go. So face-off will occur here in front of the penalty boxes. Sidney Crosby here watching on. A minute 35 will remain on this Washington power play according to TNT's scorebug here. For some reason that doesn't feel right to me. Feels like more than 25 seconds went by on that power play, but trust their instincts. As off the draw here at center, Strome pulled it back. Hudson will control as they're down to the final 40 now of the first period. Hudson weaving his way past the logo at center, tried to feed Sordiff into the zone. A broken play found Strome on the far wall, dropped it off Hudson near side. Ovi from his office, one-timer went off the side of the net. Capitals play it back to the far point. Strome, long flip shot, deflected, save, rebound. Ilya Protas can't bury it. In behind now, St. Ivany can't clear as he fell over. 15 seconds to go in the period as Protas played it back to the point for Strome. Strome trying to feed Ovechkin, cut off by Soderblom, sent down the ice. And with 6 seconds left to go in the first period, that should kill the clock. And we'll head to intermission here with carryover power play time, 51 seconds to be exact for the Capitals to begin period number 2, as we're scoreless through 20 minutes here today. 8 shots apiece for the Pens and the Capitals. So we thought we had a goal scored by Justin Sordiff, set up by Alex Ovechkin, but taken back for an offsides, as the Capitals here still looking for that first goal tonight. When tied through 20 minutes this season, the Washington Capitals 9-13-5, the Pittsburgh Penguins 10-4-7. So we'll see what those numbers provide later on throughout the day, as it is scoreless hockey through the first 20 minutes here from Washington. 100th all-time meeting between Sid and Ovi. And before the second period begins, during this intermission, head on over to the NASCAR broadcast. Matt Squared and Seth Eves has it covered for you. And once the 18 minutes are up, you could come right back here just past the top of the hour for the second period. Again, scoreless in Washington through 20 minutes. You're listening to the Pens and Caps with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. show you. I'll show you. That should be a purple, like, floating gift. You guys. That's tough, guys, but athletics. Welcome back into the start of the second period. Pens and Capitals on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel here with you on this Sunday. Happy Orthodox Easter if you're one of those who celebrate a week after the regular holiday, as it is time for period 2. Ovechkin and Crosby 100th all-time meeting. Ovechkin 103 points in 99 games. Crosby 127 points in 99 games head-to-head against one another, as there's 51 seconds of carryover power play time on the trip that Crosby took, as the Capitals will have room to work with here with a fresh sheet of ice and a man advantage. Face off at center, won by the Capitals. They attack left to right in this second period. The Penguins attacking right to left. By the way, Capitals rocking their red home uniforms with the navy blue pants and navy blue buckets with the white numbers and lettering on the back and sleeves. Penguins in the road whites with the black pants and the yellow trim on the side with black numbers and gold outlining on their numbers and lettering. Here's the Caps on the power play. Chychrun a shot off the end boards. Ovi a stash, and it didn't go on the right side of Skinner. Around the goal it comes to Leonard near side. Has 2 goals yesterday. Played it across. Ovi off a skate. Couldn't get it through. And now at the point, Chychrun broke his blade, and now Rust is coming ahead shorthanded. Diving is Chychrun. Is that going to be a penalty? No, and he gloved it away with the puck, as that's a wonderful play by Chychrun. And now Leonard just decked Rust in behind with a reverse check as Rust goes down, and Leonard's with the puck up the far wing. Penalty time's expired. Leonard down low for Dubois to our right behind the Penguin net. Kicking to the stick. Got tied up with Raquel. Now Raquel with the takeaway. Flipped the biscuit over the Capital logo. It bounces into Washington ice, and Liljegren will take it. Turning on the right wing, he'll feed Wilson up ahead, finds Alexei Protas galloping over the red. Now the Penguin blue with a shot from the left wing circle. Didn't make it to the goal. On the near side it goes Crosby. Played it out for Soderblom. Lost it. McMichael put it back deep. Girard chasing after it with him. Girard one-armed it behind the net. Letang has to hurry a backhander up for Crosby, who tipped it across to Girard nicely. Touched up now on the far side. Soderblom backhands one into the Washington zone. Goes behind the goal with it with Alexei Protas and blew a tire, but Crosby with the puck. Tried to center, went right to it. Capital, as Faravari now got it out for Alexei Protas, right wing over the Penguin line, one arm on his stick in the slot, tried to send it to Faravari, but it's cleared out of there by Girard, and up on the left wing it comes for the Penguins. On the wing, here's Novak over the Capital line, dropped it from Malkin, got it back, and a backhander goes over the crossbar, got the glass, and ricochets to the near side, where it'll be taken now by Matt Roy, got up, not out, Novak could keep, played it to Malkin, left wing corner, centering, and it's out of the reach of Chinakhov, and the Capitals are the other way with it. Miroshnichenko off the Malkin turnover, right wing, fanned on a shot over the Penguin line, kept possession though, backhanded down low in the near side, trying to stuff it home was Duhaime, didn't have an angle. Now behind the goalie, kicked it to the far side. Chinakhov grabs it for the Penguins and played it to Wotherspoon, but it goes off his knee right to Matt Roy, and the Capitals twist it right back down to our right in the Penguin zone. They're in the midst of changing though with 2.5 played in the second, so the Penguins get it to center as Letang snapped it for Novak. He'll wrist it behind the Capital net, and Thompson will play it to the far wall. On that far wall, Beauvillier trying to muscle it ahead, had the monkey on his back being Justin Brazeau, and he was able to shake him off and play it on the near side for Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Round the goal, played for Beauvillier, let it right up to the point for Hudson, tried to return it back, but it went off a skate, and the Caps have to recoil at center. 3 minutes played here. Second period, Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As the Capitals got back in on the far wall, but Strome got knocked to his knees by the Penguins. Up on the near side, though, a puck is kept by Van Riemsdyk. Long flip shot, blocker down by Skinner. Rebound through the slot. Cleared up near the red line. Chychrun trying to keep it. Dove at it. Got it away from Brazeau again as Chychrun with 2 dives near his own blue line. In this period, one with a stick and one without, has able to get possession back for his Capitals. And now he has a new cue and played it on the far wall. Down the wall it goes, and behind Skinner, misplayed it behind Leonard. Wraparound, try to right pad save Skinner, who recovered as Leonard was looking for another goal versus the Penguins this year. Came up empty-handed. Is now on the left side. Kopinen's out for Pittsburgh. Kopinen here in his 12th career NHL game, still searching for his first NHL goal. Una Kopinen. Back to the point it goes, but it goes away from Letang. Will this be an icing? It will be, as the Capitals had played it back, and down the ice it went. And a stoppage with 16:09 here. in this period. So the Capitals are 3 points back of the Flyers, like I mentioned, for third in the Metro. The Blue Jackets, who play the Bruins tonight, are 1 point ahead of Washington and a point back of the 2 points back of the Philadelphia Flyers. The Capitals, Flyers, and Blue Jackets all have 2 games remaining. The Capitals, after today, close out in Columbus on Tuesday. That's a big game. And then Philadelphia plays Carolina tomorrow, which I'll have on this channel for you guys. And then Montreal on Tuesday to close out their season. So we'll see who makes it and plays these Penguins in the first round. As off a D-zone draw, the Capitals get it. Down the ice it'll go. It'll roll on edge right to Skinner, so no icing. And Letang must play it now. Got it to Crosby. Left wing now Girard. Back across Letang over the Capital line. Trying to get past Faravari. Punched it down behind to the trapezoid. Around the goal it went to the near side. Matt Roy, or Leonard I should say. Hip checked off the puck there by Letang. And behind the Capital net now, almost there to get it, was Crosby. But Faravari played it away on the far side. Through center. McMichael will chip it into the near side of the Penguin zone. Letang will take a look and play it from the corner, and up the left wing it goes for Girard. Sam Girard on the logo for Chinakhov. Glides past Protas. Now couldn't get past Tom Wilson, and a puck deflects into the Capital bench here. It looks like out of play with 15:26 to go in the second period. So like I mentioned yesterday on the Golden Knights and Avalanche broadcast, we got a couple of games still up in the air on this final week that I was looking to bring you guys, and tomorrow it looks like I've landed on Carolina and Philadelphia, but, and that's the but, we're going to see if Washington wins this game first, because if not, I think I'm going to do Philadelphia on Tuesday, as that game would mean more if Washington is out of it. But we'll see. Maybe the Blue Jackets game would mean just as much. A lot of results still have to figure out, but I'm looking to do Carolina and Philly tomorrow, Washington and Columbus on Tuesday. But again, stay tuned. Things could kind of change up depending on the results in these games. I want to bring the most important ones to you. So just look on the channel for the upcoming streams to figure out which it'll be. So down to our left, 5 minutes played in the period of the long change. The Penguins with it in the Capital zone. Novak behind the goal. Malkin tried to give it right back, but he got knocked right on his wallet by Matt Roy. And Raquel forcing a turnover on the far wall. Can't get it, keep it in, I should say, as Ilya Protest knocked at the center. Well, Cole Hudson circles in front of the penalty boxes, around to in front of the benches, as now he'll drop it off at the logo. Roy played it back on the far wall. It's shot in by Alexei Protas. Around the Penguin goal, it'll go for Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon played it up, not out in the slot. Here's sort of a shot that got blocked. Is now on the near side. It's going to be Novak getting it as far as the penalty boxes. Now it pinballs back, and it looks like a stoppage for an offside, says the linesman. So with 14:21 to go in the second period, a neutral zone draw is coming on up. So the Penguins here mentioned this the last regular season meeting against the Capitals. Perhaps they play a week from now in the playoffs. But the Pens here have points in 8 of their last 13 games versus Washington. They're 7-5-1, dating back to 2022. They have points in 6 of their last 7 visits in this building. They're 5-1-1, visiting Capital One Arena. Face off here in front of the penalty boxes, won by the Penguins. Koivunen, as now here comes Solyev, played it up on for Koivunen on the far right wing. Tried to get into the Capital zone with a shot that was steered aside to the far corner by Thompson. Came back in front, shot Brazeau. Thompson again, awesome point blank in this game with multiple stops. Came back out the center for the Capitals. Miroshnichenko to shoot in down to our right. Near corner, it's played up the wall. Back to center it'll go. This will be icing, apparently, says the linesman as the arm went up. And the whistle goes with 13:54 in the second period. So an O-zone draw coming up here for the Washington Capitals. So look here at the couple of shots. Koivunen put one right off the helmet of Thompson, and then the play out in front set up for Brazeau. And his shot was cut off with the right glove by Thompson, who had room underneath that right arm to leak through, but able to stay with it and keep it out. So 13:54 to go here in the second period. Face off here to the right of the goaltender Logan Thompson, or Stuart Skinner, I should say, as it'll be Hayes for this draw against Strome. Ovechkin on the ice for the Caps. Strome got it behind the Capital net, but it's in possession of the Penguins. As out the center, it's played for Brazeau at the red line. In front of the benches, shot one into the Caps zone, right into Logan Thompson's glove. It'll go, and he decides he wants to take a whistle. That whistle will send us to a break. And with 13:44 to go here in the second period, we'll step aside, still searching for the game's first goal in the nation's capital. Pens and Caps scoreless thus far. Jaric Rubel back here with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 13:44 to go in the second period. We're still scoreless between the Penguins and the Capitals, as the Caps thought they had a goal in the first period. A power play goal by Sordiff from Ovechkin, but offsides was Ilya Protas, so the goal taken off the board. Dan Muse's coach's challenge was successful, and we are still looking here for the game's first goal, as this game could be the final matchup between Ovechkin and Crosby. We'll see what happens with the rest of this Capital season and with Ovi's decision over the summer. But at the moment, let's cherish these two legends going head-to-head here today. So back underway with 13:30 to go in the second period. Puck is down to our left in the Capital zone. It'll be rung around the net by the Penguins, St. Ivany. And from the blue line, a shot got blocked in the slot, ricocheted back to center. And now Soliev will have to reset. And with Ovechkin in his kitchen, he launched it up, missing everybody with a pass. He panicked and created an icing. So with 13:10 to go in the second period, the Penguins here will scoot back into their defensive zone, and an offensive zone faceoff will commence for the Capitals. So back on November 22nd, 2005, before Crosby and Ovechkin each debuted in the NHL, they were expected to not only lead the turnarounds of their respective rebuilding teams, but also help resurrect fan interest in the league after the lockout in 04-05, and they did just that, as in their first meeting head-to-head, Crosby scored the third of 4 first-period goals to help Pittsburgh end up taking a 4-0 lead. Washington then cut it 4-2 in the second period, and then in that game, the Capitals got it to within 5-3. As here's a shot here in this game by Alexei Protas from a bad angle that caught Skinner off guard that he ends up covering. But the Capitals got that game to within 5-3, and then Brian Wilsey scored to make it a 1-goal game, but the Penguins held on for a 5-4 victory. Ovechkin did not get a goal in that game, but he did get an assist. And then, of course, in 2025, just last year, as we'll keep going through these moments while we get a moment, it is the Ovi chants that rocked the PPG Paints Arena, as he broke the goal-scoring record last year. And just meeting the Penguins a couple of weeks after doing that, the crowd gave him a standing Ovechkin, and the applause continued and built into an Ovi chant. And never thought that would happen in Pittsburgh, but after these long, illustrious careers, you can't help but garner the respect of your opponent from each of these two fan bases. I'm sure if Crosby had a farewell in this building, they'd give him a standing Ovechkin too, or a standing O as well, as that's really cool and neat of the Penguins fans to do that a year ago. And yesterday as well gave him a nice round of applause in what could be his final trip to that building. So back to the play-by-play here, as the Penguins, looking to avoid an offside, have to circle back in neutral ice. So Kevin Hayes gave it to Girard in front of the penalty boxes. Goes across, and it'll be snapped in by St. Ivany. Around the Capital goal, it rolls to the near left side. Brazeau pulls up in the corner on his forehand, looking for somewhere to go. Drives with a stuff attempt to save Thompson. Rebound to the near circle, cleaned up by Alexei Protas. Flings it across for Miroshnichenko, and it's played away from him by Letang. Dropped for Girard. Girard makes a move at the logo and touched it for Letang. Left wing into the Capital zone. Protects at the left wing dot. Pivots in the corner. Tried to shield, but got knocked off by Wilson. And now a pass has to be collected in behind by Hayes, as he did a good job to do it behind the net. Played it to the far point, St. Ivany. This way for Girard, who now skates to the far wall. Pivots now to his forehand on Wilson. Found the man fresh on. It's Chinakhov, left wing circle, a shot and a right pad save made by Thompson. Chinakhov on his own rebound, played it around the goal. Crosby touched it back to him. Far wall, Chinakhov up top to Letang, far point. This way it goes to Girard, left side. Skating his way now to the far wing once again. Sam Girard pivoting to his forehand on Wilson. Feels like deja vu, that's because it is. Chinakhov far point now with the puck. Long shot deflected off a skate to the far wall. Rust on that loose puck. Knocked it down low. Alexei Protas got there first. Almost got it out, but it's going to be kept in far point by Letang. Held it. This way Girard, left wing dot. In the slot, avoided Chinakhov, came to the far wall for Rust, who tees one up, and that slap shot missed to the blocker side of Thompson and ricocheted back to center, as now it'll be Girard. Back ahead, Crosby touched it to Raquel, far wing. Back down low, it's Sid, the middle-aged man. Back to the point, here's Letang looking for a lane. Skates to the near wall, protecting. Now Erik Karlsson, I should say, played it behind the Capital net. Skating to the far wall. Now Karlsson Up top, Novak, a shot, deflected again in the slot. The Capitals doing a good job here, crowding on top of the net to not let these Penguin shots get through. As now Jacob Chikrit will come through with a clear, and the Penguins in their own zone will skate back. Here's Parker Wotherspoon with under 11 minutes to go in this second period. Behind to the Capital net it goes. Leonard up the wall, got out to center as Carlson couldn't keep it. Punched it across to Wotherspoon, though, who takes possession. Up the near boards, Novak over the red and the blue into the Capital zone, try to shake off Faravari. Left it for Raquel, bunted up to the near point Carlson, slug it across, touched in the slot for Gino. Malkin trying to fight his way to the far circle, had it taken away by Leonard. And now the Capitals chip it over the Penguin blue line, and behind the Penguin net it's retrieved by Malkin. Malkin with some pep in his step here past the halfway point of this second period, but a pass intended for Raquel goes off his stick into the benches. And with 9:53 to go in the second period, we'll step aside as you're listening to an NHL Watchalong here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Still scoreless in Washington between the Penguins and the Capitals. Scoreless hockey here in Washington still. I feel like I've been getting back here to these lower scoring games as of late. We had a nice run in March where the games were quite wild, but here through the end of the regular season, I feel like I've started to get some lower scoring games apart from last Sunday's Wild and Red Wings game. But overall, some tight checking hockey games as we get closer to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Penguins officially back in those playoffs, first time in 3 years, as they'll play on Saturday, it looks like, to get things started at PPG Paints Arena. As with under 10 minutes to go here in this second period from Capital One Arena in Washington, the Penguins are down to our left in the Capital zone. Behind in the near side, pinching is Soliev to get to that puck. Got tied up with a referee, Furman South, but it came in front. Hayes a shot and a save made by Thompson. In tight again. The Penguins have had so many point-blank tries, but unable to cash in. Here straight away, St. Ivy walking the blue line, shielding on his backhand to the left wing circle. Got poke-checked by Duhaime nicely. A Penguin lost his helmet, had to get off the ice, so a fresh man's on now out the center. As on the near wing, that new body is Igor Chinakhov, and the Capitals sort of shot one into the Penguin zone down to our right. So 9 minutes remain in this second period. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me on this Sunday, as I'll be with you tomorrow, Tuesday, and Thursday for the conclusion of this regular season. Wanted to be with you guys Wednesday, but that might be hard for me to accomplish, but that's all right, because 3 out of 4 days is more than enough, and I'll be with you seemingly forever when these playoffs begin. You'll hear from me if it'll feel like almost every day. It won't be every day, but I'll be live at least 5 to 6 times a week for sure. Sometimes multiple times a day. Why not knock out 2 weekend games at once, as we got free will here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Beauvillier straight into the pen zone with a shot. Going to be shut down by Skinner as he makes save number 15 on the game. And with 8:22 to go in the second period, another stoppage and another faceoff upcoming for the Capitals. Ovechkin heading back to the bench as Ovechkin hopes to make the most of these final regular season games. He got the first of 3 with the W in the column, as over the last 20 years here, Alex Ovechkin said, "It's history what Crosby and I have done playing against each other. We came into the league at the same time and we're still battling. We still have good matches." And the Capitals here looking to become a first-round opponent of the Penguins 6 nights from now. Face off to the left of Skinner. Ilya Protas will take this draw. No, he won't. He's getting tossed out. So in steps Alexei Protas because they want to keep Tom Wilson at top of the circle for a set face-off play. And off the draw, it came to Wilson. He shot it and it went past the blocker side of Skinner off the glass. To the far boards, Chychrun knocked off the puck nicely by Rutger McGroarty. Up ahead, it comes for Kapanen. Left wing Soderblom touched it back. Kapanen first in the NHL. Across and a right pad save made on McGroarty by Thompson as the nets now come off its moorings as Chychrun got ran into it. And with 8:07 to go in the second, we'll have a stoppage in play as that net there got absolutely steamrolled into by McGroarty and Chychrun, and Thompson got toppled into the back of it as Kapanen ended up passing this puck on top of the blue paint. McGroarty and Chychrun, either a skate at Chychrun or just the edge of the stick of McGroarty got to that puck. But a right toe save made by Thompson kept it out. So Nets back on its moorings. 8:07 remains in this second period as Thompson here with his 17th save of the game. Looks a face-off coming up here to his left. So Dubois will be out there for this draw against Tommy Novak. As the linesmen in this game have loved to pause and wait to drop this puck. Now off a tie-up, it's played to the back, and the Capitals will control, as it'll be from behind their own net. Van Riemsdyk playing one up on the right wing. Leonard will shoot one in behind the Penguin net. Skinner will play it right up in front for Raquel dangerously, and now a puck won't get out as it's turned over on the far wing. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, left wing dot, pulled up, played it between the circles. Here's Leonard, a trigger pull, and it went off the end boards to the right of Skinner. To the near side, Chychrun in the corner. McMichael played it down low. A stuff attempt, Dubois saves Skinner. Rebound on the doorstep, trying to stash it home. They score! Trevor Van Riemsdyk gets the goal, and the Capitals get the first one. You need guys like this time of year to come through if you want to make noise in the spring. The Capitals are still trying to get there, and Trevor Van Riemsdyk stashing one just inside the right pad of Skinner as he thought he held the post, but just on the near side, Van Riemsdyk pool-cued it and then just stuffed it under the right pad of Skinner. They signaled good goal on the ice. And a look at the net cam inside, it does fully cross the line. And the Capitals have the first goal of the game, their league-leading 50th 1-0 lead on the season. And now what do you know, Dan Muse is going to go right back to the coach's challenge, it looks like, as for the second time today. This one won't be for an offside. He's going to challenge for goaltender interference. And now to the headsets yet again go the officiating staff. As with 7:38 to go in the second period, let's find out if this one will count or not. So on top of the blue paint, nothing happened. What they're challenging here is that it was pushed in from Trevor Van Riemsdyk as Skinner had it. But in my eyes, that did not happen. Yup, it counts as a good goal. No review necessary. It's right back underway. As it doesn't look like it was a coach's challenge. The officials reviewed it themselves. And now it is 1-0 Washington as the Protas brothers are right back into the Penguin zone, trying to create more damage. As when scoring first this year, the Capitals are 33-10-6. Turnover by the Pens. Here's a pass across for Alexei Protas from his his brother, Ilya, but it did not connect. And now another Russian up the left wing side. Chinakhov, a spinorama backhander that missed to the blocker side of Thompson and got the glass. And now it rolls back to the Penguin zone. They try and hurry as both teams are changing under 7 minutes to go. In the second period, straight ins competent to the far wall. McGroarty got poke checked by Cole Hudson. Cole Hudson had one heck of a game yesterday in Pittsburgh as a bunch of the rookies came through in that game. His Capitals rookie combined for 8 points, 3 goals, and 5 assists in that one. Hudson and Ilya Protas each combined for 5 points, a goal, and 4 assists as they became the first set of Capital teenagers to record 5 points in the same game since Bobby Carpenter and Scott Stevens way back in 1982. As now the Penguins trying to get this goal back. Letang from the far point to the net, and it got deflected and didn't make it to Thompson. Around the net it'll roll. Soderblom absorbed a hit against the boards from Faravari and stayed with it. Played it to the back. Now it's out of the near wall for Girard spinning around Ovechkin. Girard in between the circles. Long wrist shot blocked in front by Strome to the far corner. On it's Letang. Now played to the back Girard. Girard, long wrister, blocked by Ovechkin. Looking to play it up ahead. Mishandled it. Now back in his own zone. Had to stash it behind the goal to Matt Roy in the far corner. So under 6 minutes to go in this second period. Capitals up 1-0. Courtesy Trevor Van Riemsdyk. The Ovechkin line on the ice now as Ovi tried to play it to the back, but it's taken away by the Penguins, and out they come. Hayes to the far wall. Played by Brazeau behind the Capital net. It deflects out of play. And with 5:36 to go in the second period, we'll step aside one last time in period 2. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, his 3rd goal of the year. And it's a big one to keep the Capitals' playoff hopes alive at the moment. They're up 1-0 with 5 minutes to go in the second period. Jaric Rubel back with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 1-0 Washington now, courtesy Trevor Van Riemsdyk, 3rd goal of the year. And the Caps lead it here on home ice against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Another look here at some of the top moments in the Crosby-Ovechkin era. And while we're in Washington, it might be the final home game. Let's talk about the time Ovechkin and the Caps broke through. As Ovi and the Caps watched Crosby and the Penguins win the Stanley Cup 3 times after beating them en route to those championships. And finally in 2018 in the second round, the Penguins got dismantled by Ovechkin and the Capitals as Alex Ovechkin got to his first conference finals. He had Ovechkin in that series scored a game-winning goal to set up the 4-3 victory in Game 3, and then Jacob Vrana's winner in Game 5 was set up by Ovechkin, and Kuznetsov in Game 6 from Ovechkin for the series winner, and that was an en route to the Capitals' 2018 Stanley Cup, the only Stanley Cup in franchise history. So as we resume play, and icing here ends up being called on the Pittsburgh Penguins, so another ozone draw is going to be coming back up here in a moment an ozone draw is coming up here for the Capitals as the Penguins here have iced the puck. Look at Darren Pang as he caught a puck before the commercial break as he got a nice souvenir during this game, as he seems to be in a good mood right now as he's grinning ear to ear in between the benches for TNT. As now a face-off here to the right of Thompson, won by the Caps to the back. Malkin, a slap shot save, made Thompson to the far boards. It's cleared up. Chickert will carry past the red line. Area play into the Penguin zone. Nobody home there for the Capitals, so Erik Karlsson takes back, and EK65 now will take a look from his own blue line. Got to the logo, He'll circle back now as he doesn't like what he sees. Now from the far wing, down to our right, slid it this way. It's now Parker Wotherspoon for the Penguins, shooting one in from the red line. Ricochet to the far wall. Chikrin's on it again for Washington. Got it ahead for Leonard. Poked off his blade, came to Raquel. Raquel with 4 goals in his last 5 games. Fed one across and a shot by Novak. Shut down by Thompson again, point blank. First star of this game. Logan Thompson at the moment is on the right side. Letang gets a possession back for the Penguins. Stretch pass up ahead. Novak had a breakaway from the left wing in, and he lost possession between the circles, as he'll be seeing that one as he goes to sleep tonight. As wow, Novak didn't even get a shot away on that breakaway opportunity. Back into the Capital zone, Letang feathered one, getting tripped up by Faravari was Crosby, and to the sin bin goes the Slovak defenseman, and to the power play go the Pittsburgh Penguins, looking to equalize this game at a goal apiece. So Penguins here on the power play so far today, 0 for 1 on the game, as they'll look to break through here and get the equalizer on the road in Washington, as they're trying to spoil the Capitals playoff parade. I also don't know how much the Penguins would actually feel. I don't think they'd want to do it. I almost feel like, careful what you wish for, but I feel like the big three in Pittsburgh and Carlson would be like, yeah, let's take on Ovi and company. That seems like something fun in a 7-game series, but don't know what the mindset is in terms of their matchup. Don't think they care who they play. I think that's more just me thinking out loud as a fan and hoping we get that in a 7-game series. But Penguins to the power play, 0 for 1 tonight. Down 1-0 in this game. Face off to the right of Thompson. It'll be McMichael against Crosby. Sid won it clean. To the back, it's Carlson. But it looks like we're going to have to do things all over again as the linesman Libor Shushanek thinks it was dropped unfairly. So we'll try this again. All right, it's going to be Crosby and McMichael. Left wing face-off dot. Played now in behind by McMichael this time as the Caps will get possession to begin this power play. And it's sent down the ice by Tom Wilson. And it'll be Stuart Skinner leaving it in the trapezoid for Carlson. Here comes the Swedish defenseman, leaving it at his own blue line for Raquel. Slid it this way, Crosby, over the Capital line, weaving his way to the far wing, got it back from Malkin. Behind the goal, it's played for Rust, absorbed a hit, got it behind for Raquel. Raquel played it to the far wall, Malkin, shielding on his backhand, bumped off Wilson, got it to the point, Carlson, turned it over though, and the Caps send it out on the right wing. So the Penguins, with 35 gone by on this power play, skate back under 4 minutes to go in the second period, as Malkin with the biscuit over the Capital line, left it left wing for Brian Rust. Brian Rust surveys his options at the dot, played it to the corner, Raquel, threw it back up to the point, trying to keep it in nicely was Carlson. He backhanded it to Crosby, got it back at the left point. Carlson along the left wing for Rust, got it right back, had to one-arm it to keep it in, but did just that. Minute to go on the power play now as Crosby gets a puck, far right wing circle, slid it down low to Malkin, back up top Crosby, right wing for one-timer by Carlson. Is that really stung Wilson? That one-timer went off his skate. He can't get up at the moment, as now Crosby rifled one from the far right wing that does get out as he missed the net. But Tom Wilson, he's so hurt, he can't even get up right now after that shot block, and now they're going to blow play dead, as Tom Wilson's on all fours right now, and he is in a world of hurt after blocking that shot from Erik Karlsson. So he's trying to get up to his feet as he's having a hard time right now, as his face says it all. I don't know where it exactly got him, as the Capital fans are now going to applaud him for getting back to his feet, but Tom Wilson shaking off this shot by Karlsson. Here's the replay, as that one got him. Oh, did it get him on the inside part of the knee? That might have been. There's not a lot of padding there. As when this shot came through, no, it got the outside part of the right ankle. That's where Wilson got hit, and that stung him. And you could only hope, if you're a Capital fan, that didn't just shatter the ankle of Tom Wilson, as now he's going to limp his way to the dressing room. As if the Capitals make the playoffs, they're certainly going to need Wilson on the ice to, be the general out there and just take things into his own hands. But that's a tough loss for Washington now if he does not come back in this game and, in future games, whether it's just the final game of the year or the playoffs, as we'll keep an eye on the report for Wilson. So now we'll resume play with 3:04 to go in the second. Face off in neutral ice, and it'll be won by the Penguins as it'll be played behind their own net. And Carlson from the left wing side will slowly skate it up. Got near the penalty boxes, dropped it off. Malkin will take it. Played some hockey with Ovi's kids at Ovi's residence last night with the Protas brothers as well. As with now Malkin from the far corner played it up to the point. Crosby, left wing circle. Here's Erik Karlsson with 15 to go on the power play. Far right wing, back to Crosby. Surveys his options. Sid the Kid behind the Capital goal. Left at far corner. Malkin poked away by Alexei Protas. Cleared down the ice by Van Riemsdyk. And that'll do it for the Penguins power play. So 0 for 2 on the afternoon for them with the man advantage. Is now on the season. They're 3 for 7 against the Capitals after going 3 for 5 previously. Back in come the Pens, though, on the near wall. Soderblom got it to the point. Chinakhov backhanded it right on net. Thompson awkwardly had to glove it, as that was a really weird play. From the blue line, Chinakhov just backhanded one, and it fluttered high in the air like a pop fly ball. And then Thompson didn't know where it was. It ended up in his glove when he went to catch it, and it popped out of his glove. That's what caused the panic. It didn't get grabbed in the webbing part of the glove. It hit the the inside part on the bottom part of your hand, and it came right back down. And he almost had it squeak through his legs. Helter skelter. Had to make the cover up. Face off to his right. Going to be tied up. Chinakhov trying to grab it. Cannot. The Caps get it to center. Leonard looking to send Sertif ahead. Couldn't connect with the pass as it bounced back to him. Feathered it back over his own blue line, as now Leonard got it back and skates through center past the Capital logo into the Penguin zone. Got stick checked by Chinakhov. Puck came to Chiviar through the legs, and a shot shut down there by Skinner. As what an opportunity there for the Capitals, as Liljegren, that was 27, not 57, came roaring on in, as he hasn't seen a lot of ice time in this second period, but played one through his legs and tried to go under the glove arm of Skinner. But a good save made there by the Penguin netminder. So 108 seconds to go here in period number 2. As a face-off here comes to the right of Stuart Skinner. Penguins here with a win can record their 1,200-point season over the last 20 years, which would be the most among all teams. The only other teams with 10 or more are the Caps and the Bruins, as this Penguins team is now got 17 playoff berths since 2006-7. The Capitals, if they're able to get in, will tie them at 17. Is right on a shot by Ovi's, gobbled up by Skinner. Ovi's not happy that one didn't go, and he thought he had him, as the facial expressions and the head shake suggest he definitely saw a lane, as Strome won that draw, and Ovi put it right on, but it was right into the gut of Skinner, who makes the stop. Face off again to his right. Off the draw, Hayes played it back behind the Penguin goal. It'll be grabbed by Girard. Up to center, he played it. Right back into the Penguin zone it goes. Tried to be played to Brazeau, but it's cut off by Liljegren. And on the far wall, Ovi's in. Left wing circle. Tried to drop it for Beauvillier in the slot. Got tied up, but gets the puck now to the far right wing corner. He got pressed up against the glass. Dropped it to Ovi. Ovi now skating up near the blue line. Lost possession of it, and a breakaway upcoming for the Penguins. Sam Girard, but it went off his blade. Is that pass wasn't even a hot one, as now Brazeau with it's going to look for a trailer. Hayes back door, it went over the back of the net as it went right over the crossbar. But two opportunities for the Penguins with a breakaway in this period is now an awkward left pad saves made by Thompson. Another try, Hayes followed up, and it went off the back of him and wide to the far corner. Penguins can't buy a goal right now, as at the point Brazeau's one-timer blocked, came to Cole Hudson, made a miss, and up the right wing he goes. A little shimmy at the right wing circle. Got poke checked, but it came to Strome, who stashed it around the goal. It'll be grabbed by Alexei Protas in the final 45 of the second period. Slid to the right wing circle. It's Chychrun walking the line to the near corner. Left it for Alexei Protas. Looking back door for his brother Ilya. Missed with the pass. Koivunen ahead. A 2-on-1 for the Penguins. Crosby on the left wing. Brazeau bailed on him. Crosby a shot and a save made by Thompson on the half clapper, as that 2-on-1 could have happened, but Brazeau just went to the bench, and the Penguins have to just take that shot as Crosby put it right on. But Thompson, with his 21st save of the game, keeps it 1-0. Crosby again, backhanded one into the Capital zone on the near side. Is chipped back out by Alexei Protas. Gloved down Wotherspoon, fanned on a pass, but got it across. And now the Penguins are offside in the final 3 seconds of the period. So that will just about do it here for the middle frame. We'll have one last face-off But when leading through 2 periods this season, the Capitals 30 wins, 1 loss, 2 overtime losses. The Penguins 3-18-3 when trailing through the second period. Have one last face-off here. Crosby there to take it. As off the draw, it's played back by the Capitals. That'll send us to intermission, as the only goal in this game belongs to Washington. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, an unlikely goal scorer, gets his third of the year, stashing one home under the right skate of Skinner, set up by Dubois and McMichael. As the Capitals, with the 1-0 lead through 40 minutes, trying to keep their season alive and have this game on Tuesday in Columbus mean something, especially if Philly loses tomorrow. Shots on goal in that second period, 13-12 in favor of the Penguins. They lead it overall in the game 21-20. Penguins 0-2 on the power play. Capitals 0-1 thus far. And again, Van Riemsdyk's third of the year from Dubois and McMichael, the only goal in this game. So 1-0 Washington through 40 minutes. Make sure to head on over to Matt's stream right now, as he's streaming the Food City 500 from Bristol with Seth Eves and Matt White. Come back here in 15 minutes for the start of the third period and see who wins this 100th installment of Sidney Crosby versus Alex Ovechkin. You're listening to this Pens Capitals game right here on the Ultimate Sports Media channel with Jaric Rubel. Again, the Capitals lead it 1-0 through 40 minutes.
I bet that. And if you look now, tell me if we're a better team.
Exactly.
Like,
I can kind of make the argument for Vegas, but we'll see in a 7-game series because when McDavid and Trisaddle's back, Star's getting almost 100 points.
They're just what they are. They know they have to win it. 2 weeks ago, they weren't really worried. Vegas
What's the dots for that, though? They could have just won 2 of those goddamn games.
And then blew. They would be up after the second period in like half, and would just get boosted in regulation. They were up 3-2, 2 days in a row, and lost both.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And that game to the Leafs. Kings winning 1-0 against the Oilers.
They did a good job shutting down McDavid.
That's enough for me. The only thing that I worry, I think we'll go.
In that division, yeah! Like, it's just so good.
Like, is Anderson, do you know how he's going to play in the playoffs? I hope that they can get 1 point. There's 2 games now. They can get 1 point. Columbus has it. They can still get 1 point. If they get 1 point, then it takes Columbus to win. 6-6. Okay. It was the game was on. It was 6-0.
just as good.
Like 1 month later,
Yeah.
they have no holds barred or
Double
something.
or nothing.
Yeah, because Osprey can't win, so I think Max wins.
I just want to drift. WWE's done that to me recently, twice. Priest's cash in against Drew at Mania when Punk swiped the leg on the announce table. Drew was being very cocky and celebrating. Punk was What do you think his favorite call is? What do you? Oh, is that what it is? Against Long. A lot against Long. A lot against Long. Washington of any kind wins. Because it's on ESPN, it's supposed to be his fight. I can just see them. They score it over. It's like they did it. Cats are a dick when you're rooting for them. Legends career is over. Like a WWE goal.
It was sketchy though. It was not very like.
And yesterday the Pens just sitting everywhere. I told Jeff, I said, not so fast. I said,
Wait, they won all that good today.
that. I told Matt on the broadcast, yeah, say Penguins not trying person. I said, yeah, I could totally see each other with you.
They're fucking humans. It doesn't matter that it's
The
like.
Flyers just had to lose one. They go back to back. Vladar, is Vladar gonna hang it both or no?
And like
And you hate both of those
they
teams.
all
I told Matt, I said 2 years ago the Caps back row was required to say worst playoff rate I've ever seen. The Red Wings scored a tie at 4 in the final 5 seconds, winning a shootout, and then they just need the Flyers to get 2 points against Washington, and they're in. And the Flyers need a regulation win, and Torts pulls the goalie tied at 1. Oshie scores the empty netter. Caps get in the playoffs. Red Wings dead.
It's rigged.
That one felt real. This
Not
one
rigged, but I mean like they were lying.
because scrolling through when Matt said their Edmonds earlier. I said, let's go see how their hearts have broken over these last weeks. And I said, that one was worse than this year. Because that one, they did it. And just bullshit. Oh. Back in Washington for third period action between the Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Will it be the final period on home ice in Ovechkin's career? We'll see as they lead it 1-0 through 40 minutes of play. My name is Jaric Rubel. So glad you're with me on this Sunday afternoon as the lone goal in this game goes to Trevor Van Riemsdyk, third of the year from Pierre-Luc Dubois and Connor McMichael. So Tom Wilson back on the Capital bench after taking a shot on the outside part of the right ankle on a penalty kill late in the second. He's on the bench now next to Ovechkin to begin the third. As a face-off at center will be between McMichael and Crosby. McMichael wins it clean. We're underway in the third period. Capitals attacking right to left. Penguins going left to right in this final frame. So the Capitals, when leading through two periods, again 31-2 on the year, as they try and hang on here and put themselves in a good spot heading into their final game of the season. They have the tiebreaker over Philadelphia. So if the Flyers lose just once to the Hurricanes or the Montreal Canadiens, the Capitals will just need to beat the Blue Jackets in any fashion on Tuesday to get in. So we'll see how this all plays out in the Eastern Conference. On the far wall, Dubois played one behind the Penguin net. It'll be Ryan Leonard out of the near corner picking it on up, threw it towards the goal into the glove of Skinner. It will ride, and a whistle 47 seconds in here to the third period, and an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Washington Capitals. So I mentioned the Washington Capitals brought up Alexei Protas's brother, Ilya Protas. He scored his first career goal yesterday and became the first teenager with a three-point game with the Capitals since Scott Stevens in 1984. Made his NHL debut April 8th at Toronto, has recorded 4 points through his first two games. Selected in the third round, 75th overall, the 2024 draft, Alexei and Ilya Protas are the second set of brothers in franchise history for the Capitals. Face off here to the right of Skinner with the Protas brothers on the ice. Wilson out there as well to begin the third period. The Penguins get possession though, and they play it to center. Solioff to the far wall. Raquel had it pitchforked off his blade, but it came to St. Ivany, who will snap it back in for the Penguins down to our right. Matt Roy now playing it up to neutral ice for the Capitals. Got turned back at the logo and collected by Novak on the right wing boards. Malkin will put it down low. Behind the Capital net, Novak pins Matt Roy. Puck squirts free to Hudson. Turned it up ahead now for Alexei Protas, galloping over the red and the Penguins blue, trying to split on in to the far corner. The puck will bounce. Wilson trying to get there. Got cut off by Raquel. Now trying to steal it back from Raquel is Wilson as the puck's by Raquel's left skate in the far corner down to our left. Raquel got taken down almost by Wilson's stick, but they don't call a penalty. It's taken back by Washington, put behind the goal, down to our left, and the Penguins in their defensive zone try and escape, but Raquel again pressured off the puck by Alexei Protas, and Novak will try and clear. He won't. Captain Trevor Van Riemsdyk slid this way to Chychrun. Left wing circle drop for Strome. It got cut off, and the Penguins the other way. On the right wing, here's Malkin after a bad collision. Crisscrossed his way to the left wing side of the Capital zone. Now played it down low. It's the tip by Girard and a save made by Thompson down low. As again, all the point blank chances for the Penguins in this game have been denied. as Logan Thompson has been standing on head here in the Capital Blue paint. So the Capitals here now working it out through neutral as Liljegren trying to split the Dion in himself as a third-string defenseman. Played one down to the far wall for Sordiff. Sordiff played it back to the corner. Liljegren again will wrap it behind the Penguin goal. Up the near side, it'll be met by Beauvillier. Beauvillier chipped it back behind the Penguin net again. Wotherspoon got sandwiched off the puck by Sordiff. Sordiff now trying to fight for this in the far corner against Brazeau. Brazeau got it, but turned it over in the slot. Beauvillier poke check to the near wall. Taken away now, but put back on Sordiff's blade. Tried to launch it to the point. Missed his man Liljegren with the pass, and he'll have to chase back for Washington. 3 minutes gone by, third period of play as the Capitals playoff push here, trying to continue on with 2 points in this game tonight, as on the far wall now comes Leonard. Backhanded it to the point. It'll be taken away though by the Penguins. As now through center, it'll be Koppinen on the right wing for Rutger McGroarty. Brought over in a trade from Winnipeg. As now behind the Capital net, it's taken by Matt Roy. And the Capitals defenseman sand wedges one back over through center. Taken now by Sam Girard for the Pens as he circles back with 3.5 gone by in the third period. At the logo, it's Letang over the Capital blue line to the left wing circle. He button hooks on his forehand, dropped it off up high to one-timer. Soliev and a save made by Thompson. Rebound to the far point again. Soliev a shot went wide to the glove side of Thompson off the glass. Came to the near wall now where Wilson tries to get out. Ended up shooting it behind his own net. Dubois will go after it on the far wall. Poked it, but right to a Penguin. That's Soderblom in the slot. Tried to twist to his forehand. A shot gobbled up with the glove by Thompson, who scooped it off the ice. With 16:07 to go here in the third period. Another ozone draw for the Penguins. So the Penguins clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2022 with a 5-2 win against the Devils on Thursday. Locked into that second seed, so they have little to play for here in these final 3 regular season games, but Crosby versus Ovechkin's always meant something more, though, and their appreciation for each other through the rivalry has grown as they've reached a latter stage of their careers, is knowing this might be the end of it. They will add another element here in this game today. As Crosby said, they're just trying to enjoy it together, but obviously make sure we're playing the right way and focusing on that. But if it's the last game, I definitely want to embrace that. And right now we're in a goaltenders duel as Skinner and Thompson have been playing great for their respective teams, as now an icing's going to be called here right off a draw by on the Capitals, as Duhaime thought he won that foot race, but he did not in fact win that. So a faceoff rolls back in their defensive zone with 4 minutes played here in period number 2. Crosby on the ice now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's now got 21 seasons with a point per game or better. As Sid, the middle-aged man, has not slowed down. 74 points in 68 games so far this season. Looking for a point here today as he missed a chunk of games, about 10 games with that injury he suffered post-Olympic break, and then a couple games after returning from that injury as well. But he's good to go, and he has the puck behind the Capital net now. Tried to set up Chinakhov, but he shattered his stick with a one-timer. The Capitals are ahead 3-on-2. Protas gets by Chinakhov without a stick, dropped it for Ilya, and a shot there by Protas got cut off by his own man Duhaime. As it rolls now behind the Penguin net, Carlson will take a look, throw it up straight ahead at the logo for Rust. Over the Capital blue line, right wing, Chinakhov one-timer, punched down by the blocker to the near side by Thompson. Fed up to the point by Rust to Wotherspoon. On his backhand, twisted it back to the trapezoid. Crosby on it, trying to wrap around, avoided a stray stick. Backhanded one across through the slot, cut off by Chychrun. Now here come the Capitals. Beauvillier on a stretch pass by the Caps, goes after it in the far corner in the Penguin zone down to our left. Absorbed a hit by Wotherspoon, got his stick lifted, and now got it taken away as Malkin's there to grab it for Pittsburgh. As now behind the Pittsburgh Penguin net with 5 minutes played in the third period. Malkin moves it on the near side for Carlson. Goes right back to Gino. Gallops over the red line, now to the Capital blue. In between the circles, got poke checked by the Caps. Now blowing a tire was Beauvillier. Is out to center, the puck comes back. And Malkin to Soliev will lock it into the far wall of the Capital zone. In that far corner, Liljegren played it back to center. On the near side by the penalty box, Strome plays it back to the logo for Leonard. Over the Penguin line, a shot blocker to the near side by Skinner. Down now in the corner, it's played around the Penguin net for Soliev from Raquel. And now the defenseman will sling it to his defense partner, St. Ivany, on the right wing over the Capital blue line into the zone. Got taken into the corner boards by Faravari. Now sticks get tied up in the corner as the puck's free. Came now by the trapezoid and back under a skate as it's caught currently underneath Martin Faravari. as now it's moved up the near boards. The Penguins won't, I should say the Capitals won't get it out, as Brazo on the far wall had trouble with it. McMichael takes it, trying to turn Soliev in a backhand area. Play ends up in the near corner for Leonard to hunt down. Played it back in the trapezoid to our left. McMichael's centering attempt went off the back of the net to the far wall. Now Matt Royal button hook on his backhand. Played it to the point. Long wrister by McMichael. Blocked and came back out near the penalty boxes at center. And Cole Hudson will retreat back on it. Kind of a quiet night for Cole Hudson after an electric afternoon yesterday. Trying to play a puck past Koivunen and turned it over. Koivunen into the right wing circle. Letang gave it back. Bounced off his blade to the far wall. Koivunen again to the back. At the left point, it's Sam Girard for the Penguins. Skating now to the right wing boards. On his backhand, turned it right over. And now Sordiff out 3-on-2 for the Caps the other way. Up the left wing, over the Penguin line. Trying to shield on his backhand, but Letang cut him off nicely and got possession back. Up ahead, Girard slung it right wing. Over the Capital line comes Kevin Hayes. Pulled up top of the right wing circle. Shielding here against Sordiff protects. Up to the blue line. Fed it across Letang, left wing. Up top, Girard one-timer. Blocked in the slot by Roy. Came to the near side. He got sandwiched up against the boards. Taken away Soderblom. Right wing circle. Spinorama moved at the dot, looking for a shot. Got off the side of the net. And it goes out of play with 13 minutes exactly left in the third period. Still 1-0 Capitals in this game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, trying to hang on and earn an important 2 points in the standings to make Tuesday's game against Columbus very meaningful. Back with you in Washington as we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings again. Philadelphia with 84 points holds the final playoff spot in the Metro. If Washington wins this game, they get behind them with 93 points. And if Columbus wins, they'll be at 94. So we'll see how this all plays out. But Philadelphia gonna need a miracle here if they want to find a spot in the playoffs, as I should say not a miracle, they just got to win and control their own destiny to get in, but it's going to be tough for them with the pressure on and a back-to-back to end the year. Vladar might not be able to start each of those games, so we'll see how this all plays out as the Capitals here play one into Pittsburgh's ice. Is in the near corner with 12.5 to go in the third. Pierre-Luc Dubois tried to play one to the blue line, but it comes out to center. And now having to reset on it is Trevor Van Riemsdyk, the goal scorer tonight. Played it behind the Penguin net. On the near side now, it's played in between the circles. Carlson waiting for his mates to change with 12:12 left in this final regulation frame. Jaric Rubel, glad you have joined me on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. I'll be with you tomorrow for Carolina and Philadelphia as we try and figure out who gets into this final spot in the Metro and play the Pittsburgh Penguins. is down to our right, getting tied up with the referee was St. Ivan. He had to hurry it across to the other side of the rink, and Novak fresh on it, play it back to St. Ivany, shot it up the right wing boards for Malkin, got tied up but kept it, goes across now to center. Here comes Soliev across the Capital line, far wing, shipped it to himself in the far corner, tried to get to it but got cut off by Liljegren. Up the wall it goes, left side to the point, keeping its Novak, skating between the circles, nudged it Malkin, left wing, shot it off the end boards it goes, behind the cage to the right wing, it's grabbed by Faravari, shot off the glass, it gets up to center, and carried out by Protas. Alexei Protas backhands it in, heads the change, and the OV line steps on for Washington now. So 11-11 left in this third period. Now it's 1-0 Washington. Pittsburgh looking for the equalizer. Washington just trying to hang on with Logan Thompson playing terrific thus far. Behind the Penguin net, Skinner will shoot it up the wall. Kept though by Strome on the far side. Backhanded around the Penguin trapezoid. To the near side, it's punched out by Kevin Hayes. Twisted right back in by Beauvillier. Turned over by Letang. Beauvillier, left wing side to the net, and a save by Skinner, who got ran into as Skinner's trying to get back to his feet in the paint. As meanwhile, the puck on the near wing's thrown up by Letang. Out the center, it's tipped and carried into the zone by Girard now. Far wall, Hayes back to the slot. Brazeau can't grab it. Now it's lifted back to center by the Capitals. 10:30 left in this third period as the Capitals stymie Koivunen's entry for the Penguins at the blue line. So now Cole Hudson, while making a change, drops a puck off for Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Behind his own net to our right, looking for a breakout. Miro Shinchenko cherry picking at the Penguin blue line. A bank pass comes up towards him. Went off his stick though, right to Sordoff in front of the benches, and now it looks like a stoppage in play here. Not sure for what, but play is blown dead with 10:06 remaining here in this third period. So this look here by the Beauvillier try on Skinner. Got tied up with Letang and just lost his left edge and went crashing in to the Penguins' blue paint as he was trying to look for Ovi on the back door. Just could not connect. As Ovi looking for goal number 33 on the season. Scored his 1,000th career goal against Colorado last month, regular season and playoffs. Came the third player in league history, by the way, in Utah to score 2 hat tricks at age 40 or older. The end of March, as Ovi and the Caps started to turn it up once the calendar turned to March. Trying to finish off that hot streak with a playoff berth, but with 9:46 to go in the third period, they'll have to wait a little bit as the puck goes out of play, and we'll step aside again. 1-0 Washington still here in the third over the Pittsburgh Penguins. back in Washington. Still 1-0 Capitals through the halfway point here in period number 3. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. So thankful you spent your Sunday here with me. As off a draw to the right of Thompson with 9:40 to go in the third, a puck will go out of play right again. And we'll do this whole face-off thing over. Now the Pittsburgh Penguins here trying to show that this Washington Capital team, that this defense they put together is actually pretty good. After giving up a ton of goals at the end of March and in April, this Pittsburgh Penguin team started to figure it out a little bit more on the back end, as it was really dreadful for them. As I'll hold my thought as the Capitals are back in with Protas. Alexei's shot went wide to the glove side here of Stuart Skinner. But overall, they've done better, giving up just 2 goals. They gave up 4 to blowout win against the Florida Panthers, but 3 against the Islanders in an 8-3 win, 5-1 win against Detroit. They've started to clean it up defensively, as a shot by Chychrun off the pad of Skinner, and Alexei Protas again couldn't clean up the rebound. That's twice this period he's had an opportunity and couldn't finish. Back in come the Penguins in the slot. Raquel, that's offsides apparently, said the linesman. I didn't think so, but the whistle goes with 8:59 to go here in period number 3. So 74 games in the regular season between Sid and Ovi, 25 in the playoffs. Ovechkin with 53 goals and 50 assists. Meanwhile, Crosby 48 goals and 79 assists. That's 24 points better than Ovechkin, but Ovechkin with plenty of the goals. Crosby with the more wins, though, 56 wins to Ovechkin's 43. And off this draw, Sid and Ovechkin on the ice here for this draw, lost it to the Penguins. As now up through center, a deflected puck will be gloved down by Strome, goes in front of the Penguin bench, and St. Ivany will poke one into the Capital zone down to our right. Be played by Liljegren. Up the far wall now, it's thrown up and not out by the Capitals' Ovechkin. Thrown back behind the Capital net in the near corners, Kevin Hayes. He's tied up with Faravari. Jostling now going on behind the Capital net. 2 Capitals and 2 Penguins trying to get this puck free from the trapezoid. Soderblom has it wedged in between his right skate, trying to soccer it to the corner. He did, trying to pinch a St. Ivany to keep the play alive. He successfully got that puck, pulled up in the far corner, left it behind for Hayes in the trapezoid. Hayes protecting on his backhand to the left wing circle, played it up to St. Ivany at the blue line. This way, Solioff missed the net with a one-timer. Up to the far point it goes. Ovi poked it out with a diving effort, and the Capitals will get a change under 8 minutes to go in the third period. The Penguins doing the same thing. As now Chris Letang up the right wing, got over the red line, shot it left wing into the Capital zone. Here's Novak ringing it around the goal. Rust on the near side, try to put it back in the trapezoid. It goes in possession of Matt Roy, but it goes right now into the stick of Rust again, who tried to pry it loose. But Roy ends up with it, moved it ahead for McMichael. And now McMichael will chip it off the far right wing to himself past Girard into the far corner of the Penguin zone. Backhanded it to the near side for Dubois. Dubois twisting on his backhand, tried to get it to the blue line, went off at Chinikov, who collects, and the Penguins now the other way. Girard at the red line will shoot it back in. 7:18 to go in the third period. 1-0 Capitals here on home ice. 10-1-3 in this building since January 31st, and now they've iced the puck with 7:10 remaining. An ozone draw once again upcoming for this Pittsburgh Penguin team. Crosby line currently heading to the bench for a change. As on now will step Raquel, Malkin, and Novak for Dan Muse's team. As Dan Muse had a successful coach's challenge earlier in this game that took away an Alex Ovechkin assist on what would have been a Justin Sordiff power play goal. As we look at Ovi on the bench here, locking in, trying to keep his season's hopes alive. As now to the right of Thompson, a face-off between McMichael and Novak will have to be done over, as we'll wait this one out. It's the linesmen in this game taking their sweet time, talking it over with the players. And off the tie-up, it's played to Malkin. He got his stick lifted by Dubois. Puck spinning around now. It's twisted out by Leonard. And the Penguins get it back at the logo. It's Erik Karlsson. Shot it far left wing into the zone. Centered for Raquel in the slot. A shot. Save made. Thompson right on. As Raquel had an opportunity to go under the right arm of Thompson. But he squeezed it and keeps it a 1-0 game. Rickard Raquel, I mentioned 4 goals in his last 5 games, been red hot for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Only Rickard Rakell has more goals than Igor Chinakhov over the last 19, or over points, I should say, over the last 19 games. Rakell has 20 points in his last 19 games. Chinakhov with 19 as well. So both of those guys, awesome for the Pittsburgh Penguins in addition to the big three. He'll face off to the left of Logan Thompson. Dubois against Rakell for this draw. Dubois wins it clean to the back. Chychrun will put it around the goal to the far wall. Trying to move it out at the moment is Tom Wilson. He's tied up. Puck at the skates of Ilya Protas. Came now to his brother Alexei, and Alexei will flip it far wall into the zone for Ilya. Ilya Protas button hooks in the far corner in the Penguin zone. Behind the goal, Wilson twisted it in front, came to Malkin instead. Backhanded to center for Wotherspoon. Back to Malkin, right wing, over the Capital line. Puts on the brakes at the circle, fed it in the slot. Wotherspoon's poke checked, but it came now to Rakell. His shot blocked in front by Alexei Protas. To the right wing it goes, up to the point Carlson. So now looking to slide it across to Wotherspoon, but he'll keep it himself as there is no lane. Driving to the net in front, Rakell is shot, blocked in front Chychrun, free to the far circle, backhanded Rakell wide to the near corner. Carlson a tough angle shot off the side of the net. Penguins here with opportunities as now Carlson skates low to high right wing side. Lost it. Now here comes an odd man rush for the Capitals. Wilson up the left wing as Alexei Protas with them and made a brutal pass that had nothing on it. Went right into the skates of Wotherspoon, and that opportunity for the Capitals is denied. Penguins back the other way through center. Kevin Hayes one-handed it over the Capital line into the right wing corner. Behind the Capital goal now. Hayes dug it out, played it back to the right point. St. Ivany will slide it across for Soliev. Soliev to the left wing circle. Brazo's backhand blocked down by his own man Soderblom, who gave it back. Left wing along the boards. Brazo looking, shooting, blocked back to him. In that far corner now, he shakes past Liljegren. Behind the Capital net, backhanded up to the blue line. St. Ivany's shot, ricocheted off the end boards now to Kevin Hayes, right wing circle. Skating now between the dots up high. Long wrister deflected just wide to the blocker side of Thompson. On the near side, the Penguins have the Capitals hemmed in here to their defensive zone. Behind the goal line, Soderblom trade spots with Brazo, who slides out of the far corner. Down to the point it goes, near side it's Soliev. To the corner, Crosby fresh on the ice. Pivots here now against Duhaime, skates behind the Capital net, on his backhand to the far left wing circle. Doesn't want to give it off, keeps it himself. Between the dots to the far wing, here's Rust. Rust here shielding. Capital stuck here for almost 2 minutes in their own zone. Rust, meanwhile, left it right point St. Ivany. He'll give it back to Crosby in the near corner. Crosby, right wing dot, up top St. Ivany, a shot blocked out in the slot, backhanded to the goal. Soderblom, taken by the Caps, Matt Roy, backhanded down. It's going to roll far enough for an icing. And after all of that, the Capitals are unable to get fresh bodies on the ice as a long shift here has Logan Thompson down on one knee, gassed in the Capital blue paint, trying to hang on. Pierre-Luc Dubois gasping for air, and we'll see here how the Capitals respond, unable to change. Over 90 seconds on the ice, just about. For 4 of these 5 skaters, Dubois the only fresh one that made it on the ice. Face off to the right of Thompson. Won by Crosby against Sordiff, but it came out of the zone. Miro Shinchenko is able to change, as is Sordiff. Caps back in, though, on the right side. Crosby trying to skate to the slot. Drop Gerard. Here's Letang right side. Left for Crosby. Long shot. Blocked in front. Carried up by the Capitals now. Could be an odd man rush if they hurry. Leonard up the right wing. Has 4 goals in his last 5 games. Fed it in front. McMichael scores! Connor McMichael goes 5-hole on Stuart Skinner, and the Capitals are close enough to be playing a big game on Tuesday in Columbus. So second point of the game for McMichael, 13th goal on the year. Leonard up the far wing was able to get it through both Penguin defensive sticks, and Connor McMichael on the backside of Letang and Chinakhov, able to go forehand, backhand through the 5-hole of Stuart Skinner. And Ovi gets a big hug on the Capital bench from Brandon Duhaime as Washington has a 2-0 lead here on home ice. So a big goal for Connor McMichael, as again, the Washington Capitals, if they win Tuesday, will just need Philadelphia to not win win at all. They could afford an overtime loss in that game against Carolina tomorrow or Montreal, but Philadelphia cannot get 2 points at all in these final 2 games they play in. If the Capitals or Blue Jackets on Tuesday, well, somebody's going to win that game, right? But if Philadelphia does not get 2 points, the winner of Tuesday's game will be in and playing the Pittsburgh Penguins. Granted, there's still a few minutes left in this one. We'll step aside one last time for the final 4 minutes here in Washington. Pens and Caps on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Capitals up 2-0 now, courtesy Connor McMichael's breakaway tally is 13th on the year, second point of this game. And Alex Ovechkin and company are a few minutes away from a potential huge game against Columbus. If Philadelphia doesn't get 2 points in these next 2 games, the winner of Columbus and Washington on Tuesday will make the Stanley Cup playoffs. But Columbus does play tonight, remember, against the Boston Bruins. So if they don't get any points in that, they cannot allow Philadelphia to get any points in their lasting 2 games as well. So we'll see how this all plays out. But the Caps with the tiebreaker over each, Columbus with the tiebreaker over Philly, and Philly just needs to win to get in. So 3:30 remaining in this third period on a Sunday here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as the Penguins here are going to pull their goalie with 3:30 left in this one. An empty net coming up, as now we're going to have an icing on the Capitals. And Alex Ovechkin will be on the ice here, as the extra attacker is now on in this one. My phone's at 4%, so I'm going to turn that screen right off to make sure if something does happen, the score bug is able to be operated with, as that would be brutal to not have that working at the end of this game. But a face-off here to the right of Thompson, won by the Penguins. Here's Carlson to the back, shot it in the slot. It's knocked down by Crosby, came to the far wall, knocked out the center by Alexei Protas. And now here in front of the penalty box is resetting Shchinnikov on the right wing into the Capital zone, shielding on his backhand, threw it in front, came to the slot. Now here's a bomb by Carlson, blocked down to the far wall. Here's now Rust trying to take it away from Roy. Poked it to Raquel, tried to backhand it back to Rust, but instead it's thrown out to center by Protas. Under 3 minutes to go in regulation time. 2-0 Washington. Penguins with the net empty. Down to our left, play down to our right. Ovechkin down to our right. Takes the puck, snapped it across. McMichael with an open net for his 3rd point of the game. Scores! Empty net goal, Washington Capitals. And they have a date Tuesday with the Columbus Blue Jackets that could punch either team's ticket to the Stanley Cup Playoffs if Philadelphia does not get 2 points in their remaining 2 games. So Connor McMichael, 2 goals here in this third period. Ovechkin set him up this time for the empty netter, as from in front of the penalty boxes, he launched it on top of the logo, and McMichael was able to stash it into the empty net with a stick thrown back at him by Brian Rust. It would have been a penalty if he knocked it away, and the goal would have counted no matter what. And the Capitals, with Ovi Jr. in attendance, happy leaning up against the glass with a sideways throwback Capitals hat, is happy his dad just might, get another 2 games in this building if everything goes as planned. They're going to have to win Tuesday. They're going to need some help from Philadelphia. But the Caps still have life in this playoff chase, and we know how they backdoored a berth 2 years ago with that empty net situation against Philadelphia to play the Rangers in round number 1. If they get in this year, this Pittsburgh team would be their opponent. And guess what? I've mentioned it on air already today. All 4 Stanley Cup playoff meetings, the winner of them went on to win the Stanley Cup. So we'll see if Washington's able to find a way in. There's still 2 minutes left in this game as Leonard backhands one back behind the Penguin net again. Skinner will play it around the boards. On the far wall, it's sent up by Girard. It'll eventually get out in front of the Penguin bench, as now it's punched right back for Girard to have to turn with. This way it goes for St. Ivety in the final 103 seconds of this one. As next time you hear from me, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be the Hurricanes and the Flyers right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As now, on Tuesday, with this Capital win, I will bring you guys the Capitals and the Blue Jackets game 82 from Columbus. And if tomorrow results in anything that isn't 2 points for the Philadelphia Flyers, a regulation loss on that game Tuesday against Montreal, and a Washington win would get them in. If Philadelphia still gets an extra point or 2, Columbus still could catch them if they win today and get that tiebreaker that puts them into the playoffs. So we'll keep an eye on how all of this plays out in the Eastern Conference. Down to the final 83 in regulation time. Sam Girard down to the left behind the Penguin net. Scoots his way up between the dots. Up on the right wing, it's played to Soderblom. Soderblom at the right wing circle. Pivots to his forehand. Threw it up to the point. It bounces over the blade here of Soliev. And now Wilson trying to dive for that puck in a meaningless situation. Went hard into the far wing, but gets back up to his skates. Now he wants to fight Soderblom. What is Wilson thinking here? Is now the linesman going to come in and separate the two. I have no idea what set Wilson off this time, and he just went right after Soderblom, and Wilson dove to go get that puck. I mean, it was stupid on Wilson to even do that with a minute left in a 3-0 game after you almost broke your ankle earlier. So I have no idea what set him off. Oh, he bumped into Strome, did Soderblom, and Wilson's just standing up, so I understand that, but it's all right, Wilson. Focus on getting your ankle back. He said, you want to fight? He's not done. Tom Wilson is ready. They give him some painkillers for the ankle, and he's all worked up or something. He's really John at Elmer Soderblom. And Soderblom just sitting on the bench. He's not even interacting with Wilson. As Wilson now giving him a P-word slur that has 2 S's in there. If you want to figure out what that one is. He said, you blank, you want to fight? Keeps calling him that word, and he's jawed at Soderblom. And Soderblom's just going to let Wilson get in his own head, and the Penguins are going to worry about their own business as they got 1 game left in this regular season. It'll be on Tuesday in St. Louis as they'll take on the Blues. That game will be on ESPN if you'd like to watch along. 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. It'll get underway. But on Tuesday on the Ultimate Sports Media channel, it'll be the ESPN game before that one, the Columbus Blue Jackets hosting these Washington Capitals. Down to the final 35 in this one as the Capitals' Duhaime scurries back out to center. On the left wing, will put it behind the Penguin net. It's We're down to the final half minute here as Ovi's out for one last skate on Capital One Arena ice if this ends up being the final home game. As now he heads back to the bench here. A round of applause from the Capital One faithful as we're down to the final baker's dozen. The fans rise to their feet. Everyone in this building is standing as we might have just watched the final home game in Alex Ovechkin's career. The Caps don't plan on that though, as this game's final and they have one last chance to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Playoffs Tuesday against Columbus, and they'll need a little bit of help from the Flyers losing along the way. So a 3-0 final in this game as Ovi and the Caps get her done in game 100 of his career against Sidney Crosby. And again, game 82 on Tuesday at Columbus. Everything might be on the line, and that everything is a date here with the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday night in round 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. That begins on these airwaves that Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central, as we are unsure what the schedule will bring, but game 1 of whatever series it will be on our air. And it looks like Ovi's waving off the Pittsburgh Penguins. They wanted to stay on the ice and shake his hands, but he told them, please, no, I don't want to. And he's going to have them go back to the locker room. I don't think he means any disrespect in that, as I'm sure he'll talk with Sid, Malkin, and the gang all afterwards here, and perhaps next week in the playoffs if that happens. But a big win here this weekend for the Capitals as they've avenged a 7-1 spanking they took last Sunday in New York against the Rangers. We kind of felt like the final nail in their coffin, but they've somehow found themselves in a spot where game 82 can get them in, with a date with Pittsburgh on Saturday. Recap of the scoring: Trevor Van Riemsdyk's third of the year from Pierre-Luc Dubois and Connor McMichael got this scoring started, and then Connor McMichael in the third period on a breakaway set up by Ryan Leonard made it 2-0. Secondary assist belonging to Martin Feravari, and then a McMichael empty netter from Ovechkin, and Feravari sealed the deal. And Washington skates out of here in their home finale with a 3-0 win. Another shutout for Logan Thompson on the campaign. This guy's been nothing short of a brick wall in net for the Washington Capitals as he stops all 23 shots he faces from this Pittsburgh Penguins team. And he'll get the start Tuesday in Columbus, as I look forward to bringing that one to you guys right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. For now, head on back to Bristol for the Food City 500 as Matthew Owens has the conclusion of that race with Matt White and Seth Eves. I'll talk to you tomorrow from Philadelphia as the Flyers host the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. This has been a presentation of the National Hockey League's Watchalongs on this YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you tomorrow from Philly for the Flyers and Carolina Hurricanes. Again, so long and good night from Washington. The Capitals win it 3-0 over the Pittsburgh Penguins.